For the first time, we're publicly hearing from Lieutenant Governor Matos speaking about the serious fraud allegations regarding signatures that were collected and turned in by her congressional campaign staffer. Let's listen in to the Lieutenant Governor.
Good evening. Thank you, all of you, for being here today. I want to begin by thanking the people of Rhode Island for their patience as we have been working to understand this situation. While we do not know every detail, I want to share what we know. After this statement, my team and I are happy to answer your questions. This week, we have heard reports that a vendor hired by my campaign to help collect signatures engaged in a widespread and outrageous attempt to defraud my campaign, the people of Rhode Island, and the democratic process. Let me be clear. I did not ask for that. I did not need this. This doesn't help me nor my campaign. Nonetheless, this betrayal of trust was in the name of my campaign, and for that I'm deeply sorry that this happened. I hold myself and everyone on my campaign to the highest ethical standards. My campaign provided clear instruction to this vendor and everyone who collected signatures for us. These individuals disregarded our campaign's instruction. They betrayed the trust of my campaign and may have broken the law. That vendor has been fired. I have ordered my campaign to prepare all relevant documents for the Attorney General's investigation. Anyone who has broken the law must be held accountable for their actions. I came to this country when I was a young woman because I knew that America was the country where everybody's voices was heard. This is the greatest democracy on earth. And that's why I'm so disappointed that some of my opponents have spent this past week politicizing these unfortunate events for their own political gain. These guys didn't have the facts. No one did. This fraud hurts all of us, and using it for political attacks to try to help themselves is shameful. I expect those Washington-style attacks from the MAGA Republicans, but not from my fellow Democrats, who I have always treated with respect. Rhode Islanders want us focused on them, not fighting with each other. That's why I have been running a positive campaign, talking about the issues that Congress needs to address. Good jobs, reproductive freedom, common sense gun safety, and protecting our rights, our freedom, our democracy. I have served in public office for 12 years as city councilor, as council president, and now as lieutenant governor. I have the experience and the record to make a difference in Congress on day one. Thank you. Now I'm glad to answer your question.
Are you trying to claim that some of these have purpose?
One at a time, guys. We will get your questions in.
Lieutenant Governor, what do you say to this throwing your campaign into chaos? You have an AG criminal investigation. Now the referral today of all the signatures to the AG's office. How can you run an effective campaign when the specter is hanging over you of both the criminal and procedural investigations?
The people of Rhode Island know me. I have a track record that they can look at. They know the work that I have done, first at the local level in the city council, and now as lieutenant governor. So I'm confident that we're going to be running a strong campaign and we're going to win this campaign.
If there's criminal charges regarding someone, a vendor, the campaign does stop with you. Will you remain in office as lieutenant governor if there are criminal charges under your campaign?
Let's be clear. My campaign is not under investigation. A vendor that my campaign hires under investigation. And
Do you think
Are you
people
claiming that they
Are
did
you-
something
are
on
you-
purpose?
Your campaign, in terms of the contract with the vendor for signatures, were they paid by the gross signature? Were they only paid on verified signatures? And how much were they paid for per signature?
So I can, Brexton can tell you the details. We just hired them on a per hour rate, but Brexton can tell you. Brexton's my campaign manager, can tell you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Yes, the vendor was not paid per signature. It was the field workers were paid on an hourly basis.
And were there
But what-
BCI checks done on any of these folks before they were hired? Or any type of criminal checks before they were put out onto the street to collect signatures, ostensibly at people's homes?
We trust that the vendors that we hire work with integrity and work with honesty.
Brexton, the person who submitted some of these forms worked for the McKee campaign that you were also the manager of. So these people were not strangers, correct? You knew who they were?
Some of the folks involved with the vendor were well-known field workers in Democratic politics.
So what are you suggesting happened here? Do you think they purposely did something wrong?
I don't think we're in a position to speculate, and we don't have enough information to speculate as to the motivation here. All we can say is that they broke our trust and clearly did not follow the instructions we gave them on how to properly collect signatures.
Is this woman Holly? She was paid by the McKee administration, your McKee campaign. What was she paid to do for the McKee campaign?
I unfortunately can't speak to that. I'd refer those to the.
She was paid though when you were part of that. So what was she paid to do? She was paid to collect ballots, correct?
Field work, phone banking, canvassing.
Mail ballots.
Field work, phone banking, canvassing.
So she didn't do any mail ballots.
I can't speak to the specific work that she did last year other than field work.
But you know she had been arrested for forgery in New Hampshire, correct?
No,
you
it's not.
hired her.
No.
You didn't know that.
I'm gonna refer any questions to the McKee campaign
So-
to the McKee campaign right now.
Lieutenant Governor,
Thank you.
your campaign is
Yes.
under criminal investigation, and you expect us to believe you're going to continue with the campaign. A sitting lieutenant governor running for Congress under criminal investigation, and you're going to continue with Rhode Island's reputation. And you can handle this in Congress.
Do you have a question or you just have a statement? Because I'm here to answer your questions. So.
Your people are forging dead people in Jamestown, and you think you're going to go to Congress. Is that correct?
I'm telling you, I'm running a strong campaign, and I'm going to win this campaign.
With dead people.
Governor,
next question.
One of the other people who collected signatures, there hasn't been a question, is your husband. So it's not all that. Doesn't the buck stop with you? That's what your opponents are saying, that you should have ultimate accountability here for what happens under your watch, whether you hired somebody or not.
Every campaign hires staff to help them do field work and collect signatures. What happened to my campaign, we don't know the details yet. We don't know what happened. You asked the question, was that intentional? I don't know that. I cannot answer that. So we have to wait to find out what is going to be determined, but we don't have an answer about what happened. And it's too early for my opponents or anybody else to be making accusations that they don't have the facts for.
Do you expect to stay in the race?
I'm staying in the race.
And if there are criminal findings found, will you continue to stay in the race? You keep on blaming the vendor. The campaign stops with you. If there are criminal charges regarding the signatures, this is your campaign.
Let me tell you something. I've been enough to all of you. I have been in public office for more than 12 years.
You keep on saying this. I'm just asking you to answer
Yes,
the question.
and I'm going to answer your question, right? My guiding principle in public office is I will never do anything that is going to make my parents to feel ashamed of what the work that I have done, or that my children will have to pay for it. So yes, I'm going to defend my name and my family name to the end, and I'm going to stay in this campaign because they need people like me to go to Washington and fight for every Rhode Islander, and to be an example for little girls that got so happy when I go to see them in Woonsocket because they see someone that looks like them, that sounds like them, in an elected office. So yes, I'm running this campaign to the end.
To follow up on what you're saying, you've run for office many, many times. This is your most high-profile race so far. Why has it proven so difficult to get enough signatures without running into these problems that have raised a lot of questions?
We did what every campaign does. We relied on volunteers and also some paid field workers. If you ask any other campaign, they do the same thing. We have not done anything intentionally. We have not done anything to defraud the people of Rhode Island. We were victim of someone that unfortunately we trusted and didn't follow our instructions. And I'd be more than glad to provide you with a copy of the instruction that we gave.
Well, a lot to go through there as we listen to the Lieutenant Governor answering questions about her congressional campaign and issues of fraudulent voter signatures, at least allegations of it being made. We heard from what I would call a very uncomfortable, very emotional Lieutenant Governor. They're taking questions and reading from a prepared statement. She is saying a vendor that was hired by her campaign is responsible for the collection of signatures and the ones that were turned in that are now in question in Newport and Jamestown and potentially more locations, as the Board of Elections has decided this afternoon that they will look into all of the signatures collected by the Matos campaign. She also mentioned that she is cooperating with the Attorney General's investigation. Also, Tiffany, I thought it was interesting when she said she was very critical of her Democratic opponents in that hotly contested CD1 primary of jumping on what she says a political opportunity that she didn't expect that from fellow Democrats, but maybe MAGA Republicans, but not fellow Democrats. She was hurt by that.
Right, because she said she's only been running a positive campaign. I thought it was interesting that she continued to blame the vendor and said that it is definitely a betrayal of trust for voters, but vehemently promising that she will stay in this campaign until the very end and that she would never do anything to make her family disappointed of her.
Be embarrassed or ashamed. And even if there are criminal charges, she's saying she's staying in the race.